Okay, so this is Sonnet 116, faithfully recorded by Mr. Eric. Okay, and is it not going? Oh, there you are. Okay, so I think I'll read this one to you first and then ask you what you get out of it. Sometimes I like to go through it line by line, but just listen and see if you can get the main theme. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love which alters when it alterations finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempest and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth's unknown, although his height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass comes. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error, and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved.
Oh.
Proved and loved, that's a couplet. It's not a very good one, but it is. So this is Elizabethan. Every line has 10 syllables, every other one stresses all these patterns. It's not just free writing, it's very, very structured. Okay, so can you tell me the theme of it? What is he saying
So
about
it's,
love?
basically, when anything happens, love doesn't change and it's always the same, always constant.
You are on a roll, Sam. That's exactly it. Did anyone else get that?
It's pretty simple, kind of like black and white, I guess.
Yeah, it is, but there's just so many words used differently than we commonly use them. So, anyone get anything else out of it? Okay, so let's go through it line by line and see if it sort of opens up to you. So when he says, let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments, what he's saying is if you love somebody and you two are married in your mind, which means you have agreed, they might not be actually married, maybe they're best friends, maybe they're engaged, but they have come up with what they believe love is. He's saying, I don't want to add trouble, and impediment means a problem or a disagreement. So he says, I'm not trying to mess with what you believe, but I have an opinion. My opinion is that love is not love which alters when it alteration finds or bends with the remover to remove. So he's saying, I believe there's a kind of love that doesn't change, that you make a covenant with somebody and you're faithful to them even if something happens. It's like in the marriage ceremony, it says for richer or for poorer, for better, for worse, for in sickness and in health, and it goes on with all the different conditions that a married couple might have to endure. So this says, I believe there is a love that doesn't change. Alter means change when it finds changes. Or let's say you have fallen in love with someone or made a covenant with a friend, and then you find out some dark secret about them. Maybe something from their past. Maybe you've met someone and you love them and you're growing in your relationship, and then you find out, they've been married before, or they've been in jail, or they have an addiction issue, or they have some secret.
Professional opinion.
What was that, brother? Okay, I didn't think so. Okay, so it says there is a kind of love that doesn't get thrown out. Like, I wish you told me this before, but it doesn't change my faith in you. I don't judge you for it. So it says the kind of love I'm talking about is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempest and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark. So what's a wandering bark? That's kind of a kenning from Anglo-Saxon period. What do you think that means?
When a ship crashes and there's just little pieces of it floating around.
Well, or even before it crashes, it's a boat. A wandering bark just means a boat. It's kind of a metaphor.
Something floating around.
Okay, so something floating, right. So it says it can look on tempest. What's a tempest?
Problem.
yes, storm. So a storm of problems, and it's never shaken. So we're in this together, even if all hell seems to be breaking loose. Like right now, there's a lot being written on families that are disintegrating during this pandemic. You know, people who are locked up and they can't tolerate it. They can't stand their kids anymore. They can't stand the person they're married to. They're just freaking out. Well, that's a tempest. You know, that's not an expected part of life. And it says, but there is a kind of love that doesn't give up in that kind of a tempest. It's like the North Star. If someone is out in the ocean and they don't know if they're going north or south, east or west, if they can find the North Star, then they can say, oh, okay, there's the North Star. I want to head west. The island I'm going to is west. I can head in the right direction. It's that kind of love. It says we don't know how high up the North Star is, but we know it's always to the north. Okay, love's not time's fool. What do you think those four words mean?
Like, even if you get old, that doesn't mean you're gonna stop loving.
Right. It doesn't
Or if
change
they
with
get old.
time. It doesn't change with long time, you know, like when you're both in your 80s or 90s, and it doesn't change even the second, third, fourth year of marriage. Or if you're talking about the friendship love, it doesn't give up. You know, I know people whose best friends when they're my age were their best friends in elementary school. You know, they just, he's my friend since third grade. I'm always going to be here for him. I know he's always going to be here for me. It doesn't change. It's consistent. But then talking about a girl, he says, though her rosy lips and cheeks might come under the influence of time. Like she's not as hot as she used to be, is what he's saying. So it says the sickle of time might have influenced her appearance, but it hasn't changed my feelings for her. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. Okay, so doom means the end of this life, you know, judgment. It says as hours becomes weeks, weeks become months, months become years, years become decades. I'm here for you. I'm not giving up on you. Okay. And it's, you know, it's that way with anybody in your inner circle of affection. That's the way I feel about my brother-in-law. Is I promised his mother I would never give up on him. As long as I have breath, I'm going to pray for him. There's no romantic love. It's just commitment. He says there is a kind of love like that till the very end. Now the last two lines are really great if you think about who wrote them. He says, if this is error, if I'm wrong about this, if no love can last through the tempests of life, if I'm wrong, and you can prove it to me, if you can convince me I'm stupid, then nothing I have written is of any value. Throw out Hamlet, throw out Romeo and Juliet, throw out Sonnet 29. It's nothing. I never wrote anything worth reading. And I don't believe any man has really loved. Love is a farce. Love is a joke. There's no such thing. If there isn't a kind of love that is this powerful, then nothing matters. So isn't that beautiful? You know, so what he's saying is I put everything I believe, everything in life into my confidence that there is a love like this. This is the number one commitment I have in life. It's possible to have this kind of a love, whether it's for God, whether it's for your spouse, whether it's for your children, you know, whether it's your best friend. This is possible. If I'm wrong, just ignore anything I ever said, because I'm stupid. Right? Okay.
I like this one more than
Turn
Sonnet
it off.
29.
Do you?
Yes.
I go back and forth. I have